From that location, where did you go next?
To dinner.
Where'd you go?
We went to the restaurant that Amy was working at.
Who went out to dinner?
It was just Casey and I.
Any idea what time you went?
No.
When you went to Houlihan's, was Amy working?
Yes, we sat in her section.
Was that on purpose? Did you want to sit in her section?
Yes.
And did Amy Huizenga serve you dinner?
Yes, she did.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how Kaylee Marie Anthony died?
Cause for speculation.
If you know.
Overruled.
No.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury any information about when Kaylee Marie Anthony died, if you know?
No, I cannot.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury anything about where Kaylee Marie Anthony died?
No.
Do you know Casey Anthony?
I do.
When did you first meet Casey Anthony?
I met her through a friend of a friend of an ex-girlfriend at a birthday party in 2007.
You had a trip planned to Puerto Rico?
We did. It was myself, Ricardo, John Chat, and Amy.
And Amy.
Yeah,
Did you go to Puerto Rico?
I did.
Do you have any information for this jury to tell them how Kaylee died?
I do not.
Do you have any information that might help them know where Kaylee died?
I do not.
Do you have any information to help them with when Kaylee died?
I do not.
Thank you, sir.
Did you ever ask her about her child care issue, if there was any child care issues?
I didn't. I had one question. An AOL semester asked her when she works. What does she do with Kaylee?
What was her response?
She has a nanny that she's known for 6 years.
Have you ever heard of Fusion?
Yes, sir.
What is Fusion?
It is a sushi restaurant by day and a night lounge by night.
When you saw her in June and July of 2008, you never noticed any difference in her behavior from before and after June 16, 2008.
No, sir.
In fact, she was friendly,
Yes, sir.
outgoing,
Yes.
just a nice person
Yes.
before and after.
Yes.
Do you have any information, or can you tell this jury how Kaylee died?
No.
Did you tell law enforcement that she wasn't a heavy drinker, Casey?
Yes.
And that every time you guys were at a party, she would leave early and drink late?
Drink light? Yes, sir.
No further questions.
Do you know Casey Anthony?
Yes, I do.
How long have you known her?
Close to 11 years now.
Go to high school with her?
Yes.
Do you recall when you saw her there?
I beg your pardon?
Do you recall when you saw her there?
It was July 1st.
Did you have plans to see her there? Or was that just somebody that you saw when you went?
We all knew that we were getting together.
Okay, who's we all?
Other friends, Sean Daly, Daniel Fisher, Brandon Snow.
Did you go to the ale house with the defendant?
No.
You saw her there.
Yes.
Did you say hello?
Yes.
You've known Casey for 11 years,
Approximately.
and you know Casey to be a nice person,
Yes.
caring,
Yes.
giving,
Yes.
and you've seen her interact with Kaylee many times, have you not?
Yes.
And you saw the love between those two individuals, right?
Yes.
You saw how much Kaylee loved Casey.
Yes.
You would see her hug Casey on occasions,
Yes.
kiss her,
Yes.
and give her lots of affection.
Yes.
Did you see how attentive a mother Casey was to Kaylee?
Yes.
And did Kaylee's affection towards Casey appear to be fake in any way?
No.
It was genuine.
Yes.
Do you find it shocking that knowing and having had observed the love between Kaylee and Casey, that there was no change in Casey's behavior after June 16th?
Yes.
No further questions. did you advise law enforcement that Casey didn't like to go out too much or drink all that much because she didn't like to leave her child with her mother or father?
Yes.
Okay. And you've known Casey for quite a while.
Yes, sir.
And you got to see Casey and Kaylee interact quite a bit.
Yes, sir.
And did you see Kaylee's affection towards Casey?
Yes, sir.
And describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how Kaylee would react around her mother.
Very loving and very wanting to interact with mom and everything like that.
And did Kaylee's affection towards Casey appear genuine?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you saw quite a bit of love between the two of them.
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions, Judge. I want to ask you a question in reference to the shared secrets that we had discussed earlier
Sure.
with your prior testimony. Was the secret that Casey had shared with you that she had been abused by her father?
No.
What was the secret that she had shared with you?
Lee Anthony tried to sexually abuse her.
So you don't know if it's physical or sexual, you just don't recall. And your answer was, I just don't recall. It could have been. Honestly, it would have been much better to do this at that time. Do you recall giving that answer?
Yes.
And
Which Anthony are you referring to with that line of questioning, Mr. George Anthony or Mr. Lee Anthony?
that was in reference to George Anthony.
Do you know Casey Anthony?
I do.
How do you know Casey Anthony?
I'm engaged to Lee Anthony,
Okay, and who is Lee Anthony?
Casey's brother.
How is your relationship with Cindy Anthony?
Good.
Or how were you? Are you close to her?
Yes.
Were you close to her back in 2008?
Not as close as I am now, but we had a good relationship.
How about George Anthony?
Pretty much the same.
Now, you had an opportunity to view Casey and Kaylee together, did you not?
I did.
And did you ever see Kaylee running to Casey?
I'm sorry, did I ever see what?
Kaylee going up to Casey?
All the time.
And did you ever see Kaylee's affection towards Casey?
All the time.
And how would you describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury of the way Kaylee loved her mother?
It was amazing. Excuse me. Casey and Kaylee had a very special bond.
And did it appear genuine to you, Mallory?
It did.
And did Kaylee ever go without food, as far as you know?
No.
Did she ever appear neglected to you?
No.
Did you ever see Casey strike or torture or punish Kaylee in any harmful way?
No, sir.
And the best way that you can describe their relationship would be amazing.
Amazing.
Sir, do you know a woman by the name of Casey Anthony?
Yes, sir.
When did you first meet Casey Anthony?
I met Casey on the 4th of July, 2008.
Where did you first meet her?
I met her at my home. I was having a 4th of July party.
Do you know Amy Huizinga?
Yes, sir. I was working with her at Houlihan's restaurant.
So did you meet Casey Anthony through Amy
Yes, sir.
Huizinga?
Yeah, they were decorating my house when I got off work that evening.
All right. Which Target did you go? Which Target did you go to?
The one on, I believe it's Kirkman, across from IKEA, the Millennium Mall area.
And what did you do at Target?
We got some coffee and some bubble gum. That's pretty much.
Did you purchase, or did the defendant purchase anything else at Target?
No, sir.
Casey was friendly to you?
Yes, sir.
She was friendly to others?
Yes, sir.
She appeared to care for people?
Yes, sir.
In fact, she barely knew you and she was watching your place for you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any information about June 16, 2008, when Kaylee drowned?
No, sir.
Do you have any information for this jury as to when Kaylee died?
No, sir.
Do you have any information for this jury as to where Kaylee died?
No, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Your establishment, the very next door neighbor is the Sam's Club, right?
Yes.
And there's a gas station right there, is there not?
Yes, there's a gas station.
And then after this gas station, there's another gas station after that, is there not?
Yes.
Okay. And so if someone runs out of gas, they can easily go get gas next door.
Yes.
Okay. They don't need a car to go there, is what I'm saying.
No, it's very close. It's at walking distance.
You said that Johnson's Tower had received a 98 Pontiac Sunfire on June 30th of 2008. Did you have contact with it on that day?
No, ma'am. And I was doing some paperwork in there, and I heard my clerk at the time engaging in conversation with persons or people at the window who were becoming very agitated. And one of my duties there was to ensure, obviously, that the safety of my employees primarily, but also that when confrontation occurred, that I would try and keep that confrontation to a minimum. So I came out of my office, and my clerk turned to me and kind of gave me the look and said, "Hey, can you help me out here a little bit? I've got some customers that are a little bit unruly." So I approached the bulletproof glass and spoke to Mrs. Anthony, and she was very agitated, very upset that there was a pretty good chance that that letter went out and would have been stuck in the mail during the 4th of July holiday, and then the upcoming weekends. And I believe they'd said they were out of town for a couple of days, and then it wasn't until they got back that they had to go and sign for the letter and so on and so forth.
What I'm really interested in is them going out of town. But that has not come up yet. And I'm wondering if that's part of why there's all this hullabaloo about this notification and all that.
Did you walk in silence with Mr. Anthony back to this vehicle?
No, ma'am.
All right. What do you recall occurring?
If I remember correctly, if I recall, he says something really interesting here.
When I opened the gate, I asked who was coming back, and Mr. Anthony said he would. And the first thing he did was apologize for his wife's outbursts. He said they were under a lot of stress, and he apologized profusely. He was very calm, very humble. And I said, that's fine. We're used to it, and we see it day in, day out. I didn't give it a second thought. And he made some comment to the fact that his granddaughter hadn't been seen for a long time. She was missing, and his daughter wouldn't tell him where she was. And he was just, in my opinion at the time, venting. He mentioned it he said something to the effect of, we'll probably get divorced over this. And again, I didn't respond.
That. I don't think the prosecutor was anticipating that. Because think about this, guys. Why would they get divorced over this, right? Over their granddaughter missing. I could see we'll probably kick Casey out of the house, or I don't know. Why would they get divorced over it? You know what I mean? Interesting.
You would never put down how long a car was at a specific property, would you?
We would have no idea, sir.
Exactly.
We would not know.
And Mr. Anthony actually informed you that it was there for 3 days, did he not?
He did, sir. He mentioned the fact that it had been at the Amscot for 3 days. It was something he mentioned in conversation. I didn't divulge or react. It was just something that came up in conversation.
And so he knew the car was at Amscot for 3 days, according to you?
As far as I'm aware, yes, sir. Yeah.
And